Oh, they were so shocked. They were so shocked. Local Black Lives Matter groups stunned that their own leaders are corrupt tyrants. I don't believe you. A destructive Marxist movement swept through America in 2020 using the slogan Black Lives Matter, demanding submission and reparations. This Marxist movement took to the city streets and clashed with police while pillaging businesses, threatening lives and vandalizing property. Black Lives Matter is more than just a harmless slogan, more than a political statement. It is the name of a Marxist organization that organizes on a local level and on a national level. The Black Lives Matter movement has ties to communist China and is being used to cause insurrection on the streets of America. After a ruckus year of crime and extortion, the Black Lives Matter raised incredible amounts of money to advance their communist left-wing political agenda. The mainstream media and national sports organizations also helped out the organization, calling all their demonstrations peaceful while promoting the movement as social justice that heals systematic racism. Corporations were shamed and faced accusations of being racist if they did not support the movement. Local Black Lives Matter chapters shut out by their own Marxist overlords who control the money and political direction of the organization. Now the local chapters of Black Lives Matter are turning against the national arm of the movement for failing to provide financial transparency and for undercutting their efforts to democratize decision-making. The naive, virtue-signaling, peace and love volunteers for Black Lives Matter local chapters are being walked on by the authoritarian Marxists who control the movement at the national level. Marty, I don't believe that you didn't know this group was turning evil. I don't believe it. All the things that have happened, all the things that you've turned a blind eye to, all the white people that are getting beaten and attacked for no reason, just for being white, all the times they said, calling cops pigs in a blanket when we need cops. I'm not disregarding the fact that you have racist scumbags in the police department. The fact that we do need good cops on the force. There are good cops, and do you know that those good cops actually stand up against the injustice by other fellow officers, and they are run out of the police department in the process at times? Okay. I do not believe they didn't know. Okay. I also know about how, Black Lives Matter, they were attacking Cuban businesses and saying that, if you don't hire black people just for the sake they're black, never mind if they can read or write, never mind if they're capable of holding a job, never mind if they have a substantial, credible resume, you need to hire black people. And if you don't, we're going to trash your place. Come on. You didn't know about that? You didn't know about that the Black Lives Matter strong arming a McDonald's? Just storming a McDonald's? If you see the video, if you look it up, okay, I believe it was in Portland, okay? Just look it up. And this lady who was for Black Lives Matter, she comes up to a woman's table, takes up her drink and drinks it, put it back down like a savage, causing all of these problems, destroying black businesses. Where were you when it was started to be riots and black businesses were being looted and destroyed? Where were you? The national arm is referred to as Black Lives Matter Global Network, BLM-GN Foundation. 10 local chapters of Black Lives Matter signed a joint statement titled, "It is time for accountability." Wow. pot calling the kettle black. The naive Marxists in training represent local Black Lives Matter chapters in Chicago, Denver, Indianapolis, New Jersey, Oklahoma City, Philadelphia, Washington, and Hudson Valley in New York. The local Black Lives Matter chapters are getting ripped off by the national Black Lives Matter leaders who continue to rake in and control large sums of money from corporations. Are you really mad that you're being ripped off? That you're not getting a voice and you're not getting a democratic say? Or is it the fact that you're not getting any money? Is that really the reason? That you're not getting a cut? Sorry. Because I don't believe that you guys are so virtuous and naive. The local Black Lives Matter chapters. I don't believe you're that naive. Okay? I don't. Local chapters concur that the sole board member of Black Lives Matter Global Network, Patrisse Cullors, rose to power as the executive director of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation without any input from the local chapters. The move took place against the will of most chapters and without their knowledge. They charge citing the corruption in Black Lives Matter's highest ranks. With Cullors in charge, Black Lives Matter national leaders became their own exclusive club, which separated itself from all local chapters. The formation of Black Lives Matter grassroots effectively separated the majority of the chapters from Black Lives Matter Global Network without their consent and interrupted the active process of accountability that was being established by those chapters, the locals charged. Like I said before, I do not believe you did not know from the infancy stage to when it turned into a full-size Kraken that you did not know this group was rotten to the core, and it started sealing you off from choices with the organization and how money was to be spent. No, I don't believe you. You weren't getting your cut. Naive Black Lives Matter followers now want out of the corrupt Marxist organization. The local members wrote that they are no longer included in meaningful participation on important decision-making processes. The political analysis and vision of the organization is now closed off, and there is no financial transparency. All the low-level Black Lives Matter soldiers are now marching in vain to enrich their Marxist overlords who now make political decisions in secrecy. For years, there has been an inquiry regarding the financial operations of Black Lives Matter Global Network, and no accessible process of either public or internal transparency about the unknown millions of dollars donated to Black Lives Matter Global Network, which has certainly increased during this time of the pandemic and rebellion, they wrote. The Marxist movement had a violent and coercive impact on the 2020 elections. Black Lives Matter Executive Director Patrisse Cullors is a self-described trained Marxist. She got on CNN in June and said it's our goal is to get Trump out. Yes, to get Trump out and get played by the guy that you wanted to get in. And you get nothing in return. Biden has yet to return calls. Neither has Kamala Harris on, Patrisse Cullors writing a letter asking that they want, what's owed to them. Kind of shows you how Black Lives Matter movement is not too bright. The leadership is not too bright. Okay? Supposed to have that written down in writing and notarized with your lawyers before getting them in power, getting this politician in power. Okay? So you traded one psychopath for another psychopath. Just saying. They not only threatened to remove Trump from office, but they also threatened to eliminate law enforcement operations around the country as they rioted. Wow. So now you give racists behind a badge a right to use force, unnecessary force, and because when you do this, you know, you cause civil unrest within your community, crime goes up, and guess what happens? Gentrification happens, and now blacks are forced to leave their homes and find somewhere else to live. You got blacks out there that they will sell their soul to Satan for money. Don't matter what the objective is. Doesn't matter. As long as they get money in their hands and notoriety. And then when that happens, no, you get your money, but everybody else is left in shambles. Under the guise of civil rights. Well, George Soros sure picked these three to be their soldiers, especially Patrisse Cullors. In the lead up to the 2020 presidential election, inner city businesses boarded up their windows in anticipation of the movement's destruction. Black Lives Matter's threats and coercion likely infiltrated election officials, their procedures, and those working at the polling locations, especially in places where Republican poll watchers were kicked out. Black Lives Matter coercion likely affected the amount of election fraud that is turning up in inner cities. Many people are coming forward with evidence of the election fraud, while naive supporters of Black Lives Matter begin to reconsider their support of such an abusive, tyrannical movement run by abusive Marxist tyrants. And I'll say this again. I never understood how you could be for a communist Marxist leader like Karl Marx who hated blacks. Okay? I never understood that. And he was a Satanist. Don't believe me? Read his poem, Human Pride and the Fiddler. Okay? This man meant no good for humanity, yet you took up his teachings and you've destroyed many black businesses, many black communities across America. Only to be played by the psychopath that you want to get in, which was Joe Biden. And Kamala Harris. Can't forget her. If you like the content, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.